No one is talking about this with Rhea Ripley right now, and it blows my mind that it's right there in front of your face, yet a lot of people have been able to figure it out. If you've been watching WWE TV, WWE has been doing something very secret. They have done it, something in which it wasn't on my bingo card. It actually surprised me instead. So if you look at Monday Night Raw, you look at Crown Jewel, October 11th, Perth, Australia, it's going to be Rhea Ripley teaming up with Io Sky, the unthinkable duo of WWE, taking on Asuka and Kairi Sane. Now, what makes this interesting is for the last several months, going back to pre-WrestleMania, before WrestleMania, you had Io Sky go in there and screw up a lot of people's dreams of seeing Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley for the first time in many years in a singles capacity, and the first time that they have squared off on a PLE for the women's world title. Now, of course, Io Sky, she went over in that match, beat Rhea Ripley. They turned it into a triple threat. Io Sky held the title for a little bit. She and Rhea went back and forth. They had an excellent match at Evolution before Naomi cashed in Money in the Bank. We've all seen this storyline play out. It's been a very fun feud, right? But during this time, you've had the returning Asuka and you had Kairi Sane just poking holes at Io Sky, poking holes in her confidence, if you will, as a singles competitor, because she's had some ups and downs and everything in between. And so now on Monday Night Raw, we've had Asuka and Kairi Sane. They turned on Io Sky while Rhea Ripley has been in the middle of it. And, of course, she's not going to side with the heels because she's a baby face, right? And so now they've turned Io Sky to a full baby face. She's been a tweener for the last several months, but now she's a full baby face. Fine, whatever. Now we're going to get this tag team match. But here's the thing that no one's talking about, and this is what they should be talking about with Rhea Ripley. Have you noticed? Now, I understand that WWE wants to position Cody Rhodes versus Seth freaking Rollins as the number one storyline on television, but it's not. And some could say, well, it's the Vision versus the Bloodline. And I guess that's getting the most television time, but here's the thing that no one's talking about. If you look from a pure storyline standpoint, if you want to just talk about storytelling, what is the best storyline? What is the best story being told on WWE television right now and has been told for the last month? It is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky coming together, forming an unlikely duo, forming an alliance to go up against the evil Asuka and Kairi Sane. They have told it masterful on television. Not only have they given this program and all four participants enough television time to actually properly and thoroughly tell the storyline, they've done it in a great way. It's such a simple yet effective storyline where if you don't overthink it, if you don't overcomplicate it, if you don't run it into the ground, if you don't do repetitive matches over and over again, guess what? You get a good storyline. That's what WWE has been able to do. That is what makes it so great. And it also does a few different things for all involved. Not only do you get Kairi Sane on television and Asuka on television, which is always a good thing. They're very, very good wrestlers. They're not super over. Asuka's on the back nine of her career. Kairi Sane, she had a cup of coffee where she was really, really popular, but I wouldn't say that she was a main eventer. They are in a significant program with established main event stars. You also get Io Sky and Rhea Ripley out of the title picture, the women's world title picture. So for a while there, Rhea, she won the title back from Liv earlier this year on the Raw and Netflix premiere episode, and she held the title for a little bit before losing it to Io Sky, and then they went on to the WrestleMania program. Fine, I had no problem with that. Although I would have loved to have seen Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, but hey, that's beside the point. So we got a really good feud going into WrestleMania. I would make the argument that was one of the best storylines that WWE was telling going into WrestleMania. And then they kept Rhea in the world title picture. Now, I am not complaining that Rhea Ripley is in the world title picture by any means. I mean, she's the most over female star that the WWE has, right? So I'm not complaining about that. I was complaining, though, and I did have an issue with the fact that they kept beating her over and over and over again. And every time that you take a loss, you are devalued in this certain some way. You would have to get that confidence and that prestige back by either your promos, your storylines, or just winning matches in the eyes of most fans. Who wants to root for a loser? I don't. And so now you've taken Rhea Ripley out of the women's world title picture. So you don't have to worry about her taking L's. You don't have to keep making her do jobs over and over and just having kind of a stale type character. No one is interested in a stale character. I don't care if they're babyface or heel. No one wants to see that crap. And then you also had Io Sky, where they're like, okay, clearly they're making Stephanie Valkyrie the next big star. Now, you could have them go back and forth. You could have Io challenge her for the championship, yada, yada, yada. But why? Why beat Io? Like, if you're going to do a one-off or even a two, okay, fine. But if you want to keep beating her, it's like, I have no interest in that. I don't want to see my baby faces get beat like that. And so then we have a situation where it's, okay, we're going to take Rhea out of the world title picture. We're going to take Io Sky out of the women's world title picture. This is good. This is keeping our heroes strong. So now not only do you get a pause of them being in the world title picture, new blood or different blood gets to enter that title picture and challenge for the championship, but it also does something even more impactful and more important, at least in my eyes, because you have Rhea and Io Sky. Not only are they in a prominent television storyline where they're getting as much exposure as they have been up to this point in a tag team title picture, it also takes them out of the singles roles that they had. Right now they're a tag team, now they're an alliance, so it's a completely different division. But now you're feuding with two talents who you're going to get good to decent storylines and television angles leading up to a match, and you're going to have a good to great match. I expect come October 11th, Perth, Australia at 8 o'clock in the morning my time, I expect to see a banger of a match. Asuka, Kairi Sane, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, they are all world-class athletes and performers. They know how to go out there and burn it to the ground. They know how to go out there and steal the show. And anything other than them going out there and stealing the show on this show, it would be a disappointment in my opinion. Now, I don't know if they're going to do a rematch in this program. I don't know if this is going to be leading to a stipulation type match. After Crown Jewel, we do have War Games. WWE, they love to we got to have a men's War Game match and we have to have a women's War Games match. And it's like, well, if the storyline doesn't necessarily compute and it doesn't come together and doesn't mean anything, I don't know if I'd do that. But WWE's insistent on that. So I don't know if they're going to do necessarily a stipulation to follow this up. But regardless, I think it's going to be